Welcome, everyone. Have you ever felt that absolute sheer panic when you realize you can't find that one essential piece of paper? Well, today we are diving right into this explainer to help you secure one of your absolute most vital documents, your Maryland birth certificate. And we're going to show you exactly how to order it securely online. Look, we've all faced that awful moment. Realizing a missing piece of paper is standing right between you and your goals. Maybe you're applying for a passport for that big upcoming trip, trying to enroll your kid in school, or you're sitting at the MVA realizing you don't have the proof you need for employment or a real ID. It is incredibly frustrating, for sure. But getting a replacement doesn't have to be a nightmare. To make this completely stress-free, here's our agenda. We'll cover 1. Why you need it. 2. Preparation and ID requirements. 3. The online application process. 4. Costs and processing times. And 5. Troubleshooting and resources. Let's get to it. Starting with Section 1, Why you need it. The key to unlocking your legal identity. The real-world stakes here are actually pretty high. Without this certified long-form document, the one with that special embossed raised seal, you literally cannot fulfill the federal Real ID requirements to board a domestic flight. It is the absolute foundation of proving your age, establishing paternity, settling estates, and resolving legal matters. It's your ultimate proof of identity. Now, Maryland uses a slightly unique, split system depending on the year you were born. By state law, birth records are restricted for 100 years. So if you're looking for a historical record from before 1925, you have to go through the Maryland State Archives. But for contemporary records, 1925 to the present, you'll work with the Division of Vital Records. For this explainer, we are focusing purely on those modern, post-1925 records. Okay, Section 2, Preparation and ID Requirements. Basically, gathering your magical items before the quest. Because Maryland birth certificates are absolutely not public records, the state enforces some really strict controls. They demand ironclad proof of who you are. This is to protect your privacy, prevent fraud, and stop identity theft in its tracks. You have to be the person named on the certificate, an immediate family member, or a legal guardian just to apply. So, what do you need? Ideally, you want one valid, unexpired, government-issued photo ID. Think a driver's license or a passport. But if you don't have that handy, you aren't out of luck. You can provide 2 different secondary documents instead. This could be a pay stub, a utility bill, a bank statement, a lease, or a car registration. Just remember this critical detail. At least one of those secondary documents must show your current mailing address. Moving on to Section 3, the online application process. Let's navigate this digital bureaucracy. Before we go any further, a massive warning right off the bat. When you go online, please use caution. You need to stick strictly to the official, sole authorized vendor, which is called VitalCheck. The Maryland Department of Vital Records simply cannot guarantee the security or the fees of unofficial third-party sites, so always verify you are on the approved VitalCheck portal. Here is exactly how the flow works. First, you access the VitalCheck website and plug in your requested details. Second, you undergo an automated LexisNexis identity verification. Third, if that automated check fails, you'll upload your digital ID documents manually. And finally, you complete checkout and payment. It looks super straightforward, but step 2, that identity verification, is usually where people get tripped up. So let's talk about that second step. It uses something called knowledge-based authentication, or KBA, powered by LexisNexis. Honestly, it might feel like a pop quiz on your own life. By cross-referencing credit bureaus and public records, the system generates multiple-choice questions about things like your past addresses or old car loans. It's just a highly effective way to confirm you are who you say you are, completely remotely. Now, if your credit file is inactive and you happen to fail that quiz, the system pauses. You'll then need to step up and manually upload digital copies of your IDs. Just be aware of their strict technical protocols. Your file cannot exceed 10 megabytes per transaction. It has to be in an approved format like PDF, JPEG, or PNG, and crucially, it needs high contrast resolution where both the front and the back of the document are perfectly legible. No blurry photos. All right, Section 4, Costs and Processing Times. Let's look at the true price of convenience. So the state-mandated base fee for searching, indexing, and printing the certified copy of a birth certificate is just $10. Sounds cheap, right? Well, ordering online changes the math quite a bit.
When you use the online portal, VitalCheck tacks on a non-refundable $13 internet surcharge for processing the digital system. This means the true minimum cost of ordering online is actually $23. And if you are in a rush and need courier shipping via UPS Next Day Air, you can add an expedited delivery fee of $20. That brings your grand total up to $43.
You might be wondering, why pay that extra 20 bucks? Because it buys you time. That 20 bucks cuts your wait from roughly 5 weeks down to approximately 3 weeks. That includes both the processing and the tracked courier shipping, making it the absolute fastest alternative to the standard, much slower mail-in process. Which brings us to Section 5, troubleshooting and resources. Because sometimes we hit roadblocks.
Errors do happen. Maybe a name was misspelled on the original document, or you've recently had a legal name change. It is critical to know that local county health departments, like the ones in Howard or Caroline County, cannot modify historical records, even though they have the power to print them.
For any corrections, everything must be processed centrally by the Division of Vital Records in Baltimore. And the rules actually differ based on how old the person is. If you're correcting a baby certificate under 1 year old, it's totally free. You just need a notarized affidavit signed by both parents. But if the person is 7 years or older, you're going to need 2 independent historical documents, like old school records, and there is a $10 processing fee.
Now, it's worth noting that Maryland does provide fee exemptions for specific vulnerable populations. Military veterans with proof of service, like a DD Form 214, and homeless individuals with a statement from a registered provider can actually get their certificates for free. However, and this is a major caveat, you cannot claim these exemptions through the online portal. You have to apply manually, either in person or by mail. As a quick disclaimer before we wrap up, please remember that government rules, fees, and processing times are constantly shifting. Always double-check the official .gov resources, specifically the Maryland Department of Health website, for the absolute most up-to-date information before you hit submit on your application. We really hope this explainer empowered you to get your vital paperwork sorted with total confidence, saving you time and a whole lot of stress. So, which part of this administrative quest surprised you the most? And is there another confusing state process you'd like us to demystify next? Drop your thoughts and questions down in the comments, and keep learning.